Hey everyone, this is Jay, and we are gonna play Spider-Man Remastered for PC on the Steam Deck. Just a little FYI, I had to set this to experimental compatibility because it wouldn't work on 7.03 or 7.0-3. Alright, so let's load this and see the performance. And on the top left, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to read it to you because it's a little tiny, but we have the performance overlay, and we're just gonna see what kind of frame rates we get at a certain settings for this game. And I'm also using a controller so that I'm not blocking the camera. And I'm just gonna load up the game. Alright, let me change position here.
Should be able to spot the next tower from up there.
Alright, so this is still in the beginning of the game. Right now, I'm seeing about 40 to 50 frames per second, and running around, I'll hit high 30s.
From his elevated position, Spider Cop spies his destination. A second surveillance tower.
Are you narrating yourself?
What? No, of course not. The Chief never did understand Spider Cop. Thought he was a loose cannon.
Already regretting this.
Alright, so back to our performance here. So we have about between 35 to 50 frames per second. And in terms of the gameplay, it feels smooth. I mean, if you don't stare at the frames per second, you won't even know that it's really dipping that low. And let's go into settings real quick. So right now, it is running at 800p, 1280 by 800, and I am using AMD's upscaling technology, FSR 2.0, and right now it seems to be set to be targeting 30 frames per second. I am gonna try to see if I can set that to 60 and see what it does here in terms of the graphic quality. So I'm seeing about 50 to 60 frames. It even hit up to upwards of 70. Dips to 40, and graphic quality still looks pretty decent. I'm gonna uncap that actually and try to set it to based on quality. So I'm gonna turn it off, and then we're gonna do ultra performance first. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna look really blocky and full of pixelation. So yeah, I mean, you can't really see it on camera, but yeah, right there you'll see a trail of pixels around Spider-Man. So that's a no-go, even though it was giving pretty good frame rates. I'm gonna set it to performance. And for graphic settings, by the way, I set anisotrophic filtering to 8 times. Shadow is slow. SSAO for ambient occlusion. Technically, you can turn that off to get even more performance, but that will kill the details. Shadow details right there, as you can see. I'm gonna turn it off real quick. The rest is on medium, even depth of field. So let's see. So performance gets about 60 frames per second. Still looks pretty decent. but I want to see if I can tweak it a bit more so that we get a good balance here. So ambient occlusion, I'm going to keep SSAO on the same settings. So that actually didn't seem to do much in terms of frames per second, but I'm going to set it to balanced for FSR. And I'm just going to do a mission real quick. So moving around, which is pretty much what you'll do a lot in this game. So try to get a realistic feel for the frame rate. We have about 45 to 60 frames. And going into the Steam menu, right there, I do not have a limit on the frame rate, and it is set to a 60 hertz refresh rate. I have seen some YouTubers set everything in game and then cap it to 40 frames per second here. So turn this all the way down to 40, go back, and as you can see, for the frame rate limit, you can even set it to 40 as well. So that should present a better, a smoother gameplay. Let me just see.
I can modify these towers to track more than just crimes. Score! Towers are picking up all kinds of RFID signals now, including one nearby. What is that?
Alright, so the 40 hertz trick seems to be working well.
Oh, wow.
Does feel a bit smoother
Backpacks from high school.
since the screen itself is capped to 40 hertz.
I wonder how many of these are scattered around the city.
And since
Still there? Got a robbery a few blocks away.
Spider Cop's on it. Part man, part spider, all cop.
Since we do have that capability, I'm gonna try doing something interesting here and setting the refresh rate to 45.
Open the safe! Do it! Hey, fellas. Spider-Man! Shoot it!
Alright, so with this setting, it was hitting about
More of them?
between 30 to
If you work this hard in a legit
obviously
job,
45
it
frames
would
per
be
second
incredible.
because I capped it to that.
Spider freak.
And then we're gonna set it back to 60.
All right, Yuri. I'm gonna repair the last Chinatown tower now.
Don't you mean Spider Cop's gonna repair it?
Been doing a little thinking, Yuri. Policing's a young man's game.
And we're just gonna cap it.
Well, he's no spring chicken.
Please be going where I think you're going.
As of today, Spider Cop is officially retired.
Oh, thank God. I need a drink.
We'll all drink tonight, Yuri. Drink to the memory of Spider Cop's tireless Yuri, you there? Guess the emotion of the moment overwhelmed her.
So this is set to 60 frames per second cap, and as you can see, if I'm doing a lot of action, it doesn't ever get up that high. So I think even capping it to 50 might be a better experience in terms of gameplay.
Not good. Can't have people taking pictures of my 3 chest hairs. Tools I need for suit repair at the lab. I wonder if Dr. Octavius is left for the day. Doctor, how did it go with the committee? I'm so sorry I screwed things up.
Not at all, Peter. They're just nervous in the face of imminent triumph. They'll calm down. They always do.
Should I head back to the lab for cleanup?
No. I'm stepping out for dinner anyhow. We'll resume tomorrow. Short break, then back to creating the future.
I wish I
Alright,
could bottle and sell that man's optimism. Sounds like he's left the lab for the day. Good time to work on my suit in private.
Sidewalks. Worse than tortoise. Seriously, I want one.
so this is how it looks when you're just sort of roaming around on the ground.
Thought you'd be taller.
Setting it go between 35 to about
Do something?
close to 50 frames per second. So I guess that 40 hertz cap is actually a good idea, just to provide a seamless and consistent frames per second gameplay.
Can I get an autograph?
And we're gonna do that right now.
No way you're really Spider-Man, right?
There you go, 40 frames per second cap, and even when it dips down close to 35, still fairly consistent. Obviously this is recorded at 30 frames per second, so I'm not sure if it's really picking up the slight changes here. But to my eye, capping it at 40 is much better than letting it go to 60. In terms of graphical quality, it still looks good at Balanced. Seeing some hitches here, and I think it may be due to the fact that I installed this on an micro SD card. It's probably loading all the assets in the distance. That should do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and the one last thing I'm gonna do is show you the intro, just to show you the quality of the in-game cinematic. So we're gonna select the profile, delete this one, and start up a new game. There we go. Again, this is capped at 40 hertz or 40 frames per second. Someone just yelled uncap it, so I'm gonna do that for you. Intro is hitting about 75 frames per second at Balanced FSR 2.0 quality mode. balance mode. $80 frames.
All units, level 4 mobilization. Location, Fisk Tower.
Fisk?
SWAT is 1084 at Fisk Tower. All units stand by. Warrant is en route.
As you can see, the transition dipped down to 30s. So that's probably why a lot of people are capping this at 60 Hz. Getting really bad dip there. 11 frames per second. I really think it has a lot to do with where the game is installed, because it's trying to load all that information.
Take him down yet?
No, we're at Fisk Tower, but still waiting on the warrant.
Mind if I join in on the fun?
You know how his lawyers are. This one needs to go by the book.
Come on, Yuri. I've been waiting 8 years for this.
You really want to help?
And one last thing, let me zoom in a bit
Sounds
more.
like his guys are trying to keep my backup from reaching the scene.
You got it. Almost there.
It's a 3080 in the background, by the way. Painted one. So we're in the 40s, 30s. Let me do the 40 frame per second cap again. So you can see a big difference in terms of the smoothness of gameplay here. So earlier we were seeing all sorts of jutters and stutters. Now we are smooth sailing.
Hello?
Parker, where are you? We must run through the demonstration at least once before the grant committee arrives.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Dealing with a personal issue. I'll be in soon. Promise. Better wrap this up quick and get to my real job.
Turned off motion blur, by the way, because I'm really not a fan of that. But as you can see, you can play this game with these settings.
Yuri called in the cavalry.
Make sure to set FSR to balanced and cap the resolution or the refresh rate to 40 Hz. I'm gonna let this little cinematic play, but thank you for watching. See you in the next video.
Need more backup! 1032, Times Square. Officers under fire. Bring in the hammer.
Morning, guys. Who's ready for their hot, fresh cup of bodily harm?